I apologize beforehand if the audio quality is not the highest of standards. I am recording this in a room I can speak a bit louder in. However, and I kid you not, just today my headset broke for a second time, and I cannot repair it. So I'm going to have to work with what I can find. Microphone quality might not be that great, but you know what? We're going to keep on trucking. And this is a presentation of the game I've been working on for a really, really long time. Sorry if again, the audio isn't that great. I'm doing what I can. This is the best I could do. I don't have a lot of resources on hand. So, as you can already tell, I've been thinking about doing this for a while. I gave it some thought over 2 months, and I decided to showcase a slightly older build of the game I'm working on. Can't go past the ice cream truck. I had attempted to record this yesterday. Actually, what I did was I recorded footage of me playing the game. Then, in the editing software I use, I went in and recorded over the footage in post, and the footage looked really bad. So hopefully this time, the footage won't be too bad, maybe. And this time it's live commentary, and not post commentary, so here's some children. I've got a bit of dialogue. I think their text boxes are different in the current build, but I believe this is a build from a month and a half ago. This has the most playability to it, as in the most I'd be willing to show right now. I'm not actually going to read this out loud. I'm just going to keep going. I wanted to do a presentation on this because for a long time I kind of just kept quiet about it, and I didn't feel like telling other people about it until now. Working on it has gotten very difficult. It's proven to be difficult as time has gone on. However, I've made a lot of major strides lately, which is good. And to be honest, I've been kind of, hello, I'm Hunter, in case you don't know me. I am extremely depressed right now, and I thought that talking about this thing that I'm, proud of to a certain extent would, ease some of that tension inside of me. I don't know if it will or won't. And, okay, so now we have to walk all the way back. In case you, God bless you if you can't, this is as you can tell, this is at least a fan game. Not really what I was expecting to come back to, but I felt the desire to make this, and I say it's been a few months. It's actually been closer to 2 years I've been working on this. Out of technicality, maybe even more, now that it's 2018 and not 2017. As I said, there are a lot of builds of this. It's been in the works for quite some time. I don't have a lot of on-the-fly commentary to really make. I do want to discuss a few things, though. I'm going to try and watch what I say, because I'm not as nervous as I was last time I recorded. Yesterday I had, not a breakdown, but I had a really bad day, and it was really difficult to come up with things to say. This tile set you're looking at is probably one of the oldest tile sets I've made. I can do much better now, which is why in the... Okay, I have 2 builds of this game. One of them I kind of share with people I'm close to. I ask for feedback in inner circles of friends and acquaintances, and they talk to me, they tell me where I could improve, things like that. Usually it's with assets. However, I have another build, which is what I've dubbed the experimental build, where I go full force on things like the themes of the game and sound. That doesn't just mean soundtrack, but just sounds in general and newer character sprites. These have been in the game for a while. I'm going to walk all the way to the right just to show you. Hey, look, it's another red flower. That's neat. A lot of you might recognize some of the things that you're going to see from one of my canceled games. It's a bit on the nose, isn't it? But yes, the quality is much better. Which I'm going to talk about a few things throughout this video. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm hoping like hell that this storm that's near my house, well, not my house, but the house I live in, I really hope this storm passes because I really do not want anything bad to happen to my electronics. My headset already broke, so that sucks. But whatever. I don't really know what to talk about right now. I'm just sort of going through the intro. You can talk to... her name is Audrey. That's Melvin's sister. Let's just explore a little bit. Okay, so this object right here was one of the first workarounds I figured out. This was back when I was like early learning RPG Maker, and now this is a nothing. I fixed it, but this used to be. I was learning how to do layering properly with tiles, and I did not do that so well here. Like I said, I have improved a lot since early 2017, late 2016. I don't think anything in here is interactive. This is just for looks. I didn't expect players to go into the rooms. I kind of expected them to go straight up these stairs. But the person we're playing as right now in this flashback is Melvin. I think his last name's Harpwood. I don't remember what I named them. He is not the main character of this game, however he is a very pivotal figurehead in the overall story. And he just had his heart broken by another boy who he loves, and he doesn't ever want to wake up. Boy, have I been there. Lisa the Forsaken. Alright, so that was the title drop. That bit of music was created by a friend of mine. It's a part of a song of his. I want to include the full song in the game. However, I don't know where or how. I will discuss the soundtrack maybe later. So, here we are. Let's see. We are David. David Harpwood. He is a bow staff tutor. He has a bow staff, and he's wearing master's robes. Was an extremely successful bow staff instructor, old and wise, but doesn't know how to mend the past. Well, that's upsetting. You're well rested. You pray over the memento. Okay. I'm not going to read through everything. I'm just going to blaze through this if I can. There is a lot to this game that I wish to show. However, for the sake of convenience, I will have to split this up into a few parts. Not video parts, just clips for me to put together. So the idea of this game it was originally, the project was called Lisa the New Spiteful, NU-Spiteful, and it was intended to be a complete remake of a canceled game of mine, as probably the only thing I've ever been remembered for is Lisa the Spiteful, which, compared to who I am and what I'm doing now, life has gotten a lot better since those days. And I've been kind of hiding this, blatantly lying to some people, typically over Steam messages, asking me if I'm still working on a Lisa game. I tell people no, because I wanted to give the illusion that, one, I had moved on, and two, that I had better things to do. And my better things to do ended up being another Lisa fangame, because I really want to complete this project. He said something different. Okay. Actually, I think you can. Yeah. Salmon. Just about everything, what I remember. Oh, we got damage. That's okay. I've got eggs. And a lot of health. I need to balance that out. Here's the extra stuff. It's raining outside now. I don't know what all I should really talk about. There are a lot of eggshells I have to walk on when it comes to discussing this project. It's been through more than one development hell. However, I've overcome both, and I like to think that it's not smooth sailing, but let's see. To be honest, I've been really stressed out, especially in the month of June, for which it is. And the reason for this is because I've been stressed out with other people, and I've been trying to make more friends, and a whole bunch of different things. I've been looking for a job. That hasn't been going too well, which sucks, but I mean, I can't really do much about it other than be patient. And yeah, I don't know what the feedback will be to this sudden, hey look, here's the thing I've been making. But I think people might be more in favor of this. It's not just one or two screens. It's not a fake out. This is actually a thing that I've been working really hard on, and I am proud of it, although I know I can be doing better, which is why I am not showing the current build. The current build has a lot of graphical changes, and even a bit of locational changing, at least for the beginning. For those of you who are watching, most of you are probably Lisa fans, so you're going to know what I'm saying, but this game is not set in Elithe. In fact, I proved that with an item, I think. This game takes place in Jericho. So now it's time for me to explain something about that. In my, headcanon, basically, Elithe is not just like a town. It is actually a state. It is basically Colorado. And Jericho is California, and Arcantos is Arkansas. Did I put an item? I think I put an item. No, that might be a different cave. Just gonna skip ahead a bit here. Okay. This sprite was drawn by a person I know, Max. I think we're friends. I haven't spoken with him in a while. Hope he's doing okay. Some of you might know him as the leader of the Beast Zone. Which, from what I can gather, has a bit of lore to it. Okay. But I think there's an item here. Oh, I already got it. Okay. Sorry if I seem a bit absent-minded. Again, under a lot of stress right now. Thought this would help, and I hope it does. This is actually an area I'm really wanting to change. It's not that great. It's kind of generic, but in an odd way. This is the sewers. Okay, so... Okay, so the joke with this guy is that once you get into the bar in this area, you would see him again exactly as he is, but instead he would have a beer bottle in his pants. He would say, "I told you so," if you interacted with him. There's a poster on the wall. Date of birth. Watch out for the birthday boy. Birthday man, more like it. Okay. This is a really early area. Oh, look, camper. Another poster. Kabuku Unpix. That's a neat name. I think I tried to combine a French name and a Chinese name. Also, that guy's face, I don't know if you can see it very well in the video compression, but the guy on the poster, that guy's supposed to look like Jar Jar Binks a little bit. Okay, let's go in here. We're in the Abernathy Water Treatment Facility. And here is a bouncer. Sorry, Indy. Okay, so this is fairly basic. It's not that intriguing, I don't imagine. Maybe people are intrigued, but I'm not. I already know what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and, have debug mode on. This area right here, there is a room you can go into here. However, I never did the cutscene for the room, so I'm not going to show it. But I will show some more stuff in the sewers first. I hope people like the tile sets. I worked really hard on them. Especially these ones, even though they're a bit bright. Okay, so before I continue, actually, I'm going to show the camper trailer. Well, maybe I should go in here. No, I'll go to the camper first. Papers, list names, birthdays. Blood types and birthdays, that's weird. Feral acid, okay. So this room right here, the camper trailer is a combination of two in-jokes. This camper right here is drawn based after a camper I spent time in with my best friend, and the Dream Boy Dream room right here is based off of a joke between me and a Skype group I used to be in. Sort of, mainly Ed and myself, if you know who Ed is, which you probably do. If you're watching this, I'm going to make the assumption you are an avid Lisa fan. That's probably the only reason you actually found this video. If not, whatever. Hello. This next room was inspired by the Saw film, or the film Saw, I should say. I like the movie Saw. I think the first movie, as a standalone thing, is fine. It's an interesting movie. It's not terribly unique, but it is pretty okay. And you're probably wondering why have a torture room. Well, I don't know if this is going to be in the final game, but I will explain the reasoning for this room in a moment. Hey, look, it's that snake from the intro. Doors electronically locked. Just keypad on the wall. I forgot to write the note. This is another old room, but I'm going to explain something. So I wanted the idea that what happens in the plot to get David motivated had been set up for a long, well, not a long time, but a good bit of time, and that these people were watching and asking to find David for a particular reason. Hopefully people who are watching this can kind of piece together what I'm trying to explain. I don't want to outright explain the plot right off the bat. I do like to have some level of intrigue. These two sprites right here are really old, and I can do better. This sprite right here, and the one to the right that you're going to see, were actually re-sprites by a good friend of mine, Katie. I love you, man. If you're watching this, you are just, words cannot explain how amazing he's been to me. He even helped with a bit of the music. At least one song in particular, which you might be able to hear today. I don't know how much of this I'm going to record, and I'm just going to keep talking because I never shut up. Okay, at least not when I'm recording things like this. This room's kind of basic. This is the Sugar Dome. I want this to be in the final game, however, I think this design is too simple. I don't like the wallpaper thing, and it doesn't look like an actual dome. So I'm going to redo this area in my experimental build. This character, I forgot his name, it's been a while since I've played through this region of the game, but this guy was actually based off of concept art that my best friend had drawn. I was hanging out with him one weekend, and I just asked him, hey, you know, can you draw what you imagine a birthday goon would look like? And he said I'll probably put it on the screen. But he said, are you going to try and sprite this? And I said, I'm going to sprite this. And I did. Okay, Brunswick Hapsner. Okay. I think Hapsner is the last name of a distant family member. I'm not sure. But Brunswick, that's a neat name. Will never be replaced. All of the fights, as far as I know, are placeholders. As in 100 health, not much programming. My main focus for a long, long time was getting the level layouts preemptively made. Let's see. True die. Oh, hold on. I think I already spoke to him. So that was the Sugar Dome. It's going to be getting an update. I don't know if I should keep the hold on, let me show you. I don't know if I should keep the sewers. I feel this is probably my worst mapping. It's not terribly interesting. I did get better with time, though. This guy. He knew this would happen. He didn't tell me. Let's go past this big thing. What's over here? Uh-oh. Quick trivia fact. This guy is based off of G.G. Allen. There you go. Fate is something no system can ever stop. A lot of the death quotes are just random things, random thoughts I'd had whenever I was drawing them, and I would write them down on paper, you know, or keep notes. I keep a lot of notes on this game. Too many, to be honest. This cutscene was poorly received, and I'm going to change it. It's just kind of a throwaway thing. Yeah, it's not very good. And, let me see. Yeah, there's nothing to this. Programming the battles hasn't been one of my main concerns. At least not recently. Ooh. Also, there is a bug in this version that I think I fixed in a later build, which is when I wanted an enemy to have, you know, a death quote, essentially. They still attack right before the death quote. I can't remember if I fixed that or not. I've been really pumping out in the later sections of this game. Go around real quick. This is probably very expedient. I am the developer, so I'm kind of blowing through this. Not that there's any challenge, but I'm sort of just talking as I go, talking and walking, really. So the lore behind these guys, these are the Gator Gang. You get sent in here to kill these guys, but instead of finding them, you find the birthday boys. And the lore behind the Gator Gang is that their actual leader, who I sprited him, but I didn't like the sprite, so I'm going to try and redo it and make him look neater. Their leader had his leg bitten off by an alligator, and he survived. He kills the alligator, and he keeps its head. The head on the left is not an actual alligator head. You'll see that in a moment. And the leader, alligator gang, yeah. And they're at war with the birthday boys, and they're trying to take over the sewers. Get pumped! Get pumped! Come on, get pumped! Oh, I love this song. All the music in this game was composed by several friends of mine. I am friends with a lot of really talented musicians. Excuse me. I'll send you that one happen. Oh, you're kind of a dick. Yeah, what can I say? You're listening to the music right now, I would hope. Or at least some of it. Okay, so let me see. I think that killing both of them triggered. A majority of it that was actually made for the game and wasn't pre-made was done by my great friend Nick Rossetti. Wonderful, wonderful man. Okay, so this room isn't done. I'm going to have to do a jump cut here. So, what you're about to see is actually real cut content. I do not like this flashback, but this takes place in between the inciting incident and the rising action. I'm just using terms. It happens after something bad happens to David, and you get knocked out. As I was saying before I switched to this map, essentially, all the music is made by friends, like just people I've met over the years. Like, I've known Nick since before Lisa was even a thing. I've known Nick since, I think, 2010, 2011. The song you're listening to right now, you already know, is from Lisa the Painful. I thought it would be neat to have some recurring music. Okay, I'm just going to examine whatever's in this room. So, Master David, or David Shakhonda, or Parkwood. David is not his real name. I forgot how to pronounce it. It's Shakhonda. I am not, I'm not Laotian. I'm not Asian. I am a dumb white kid from the South. I live in Alabama, as people who know me already know. However, I thought it was interesting to take the idea of a karate man, which you usually get to play in Lisa, and have him, instead of being abused or poor, he is very successful, and he is authentic. He knows what he's doing. And basically his job, at least in this version of the game, I might rework it a bit, is he starts out you get more flashbacks throughout the game. And he was young, he moves to America, and he trains actors how to perform stunts. So he's a stunt director, essentially. And he makes a lot of money working with Hollywood. Well, it's not called Hollywood, but he works with movie executives. And that's how he sort of makes his way. He buys a nice home, and he starts a family. The woman he meets used to work for him in his little... He ran a small company. Again, the game is set in would-be California, so obviously... Ooh. So... Okay, I'm going to cut that thought real quick and jump onto this and explain this cutscene. The idea is that because he's an older man, his memories bleed into one another. I actually didn't finish this cutscene. I thought it wasn't really all that great. Okay, so you went from being on the show and interviewed to being in a therapy office. This is an incomplete scene. I decided it wasn't good as I was working on the third part to it. Okay, so what's supposed to happen here? I have her sprited. She is in the game's folder. The therapist was going to morph into the wife, and she was going to say, "I still love you," and then the scene would transition into a dinner scene. Okay, yeah, it just repeats here. So I'm going to do a cut real quick. Back again. All right. Okay, here we go. The event started. This is after you've awakened from being knocked out. After the television flashback and the talking to the wife, you wake up. Just ignore that in the top right corner. Wake up in this cell room. And you need to get out. It's very easy. You just interact with the door. This tile set took a long time to make, and despite that, I cannot stand looking at it. However, it is what it is. I do like certain things about it. It looks sort of like a painting. A little bit. Well, the bottom floor does. One thing about this game that I did try to... I tried to do, I'm not sure if I did it successfully, was to give the feeling that the tile sets weren't just, oh, hey, look, it's your average Lisa stuff, haha, it's bright and colorful. I wanted to have more moody set pieces. This is sort of a regular thing. There's a note to someone named Ozzy. We'll figure out about Ozzy soon. New game is a gift. Oh, that's nice. Uncle O and Uncle M follow protocol. I think everything in here you can look at, have a comment on. One of the inspirations, surprisingly this does tie into what I was saying earlier, one of my favorite types of games has always been survival horror games. And one thing I like about them, especially the Silent Hill and Resident Evil series, especially Resident Evil, are the memos. I love reading documents, things, in games. Of course, it's optional. Let's look at the first picture. I wonder who that is on the left. Okay, let's see. I wanted to have the feeling, not particularly of a PlayStation 1 game, although the PlayStation is one of my favorite consoles. I wanted the tile sets, some of them, to have a very baked-in feel. That's a term I've heard recently, where the The texture was done like most textures, it repeats, and it's not terribly unique, but it looks fine. However, I gather them together, and I try to make it look, as standalone from everything else as possible. Sorry for cutting myself off. I am trying to think of things to say as I play, if you consider this gameplay. Something I mentioned in the last recording I did for this, which the video quality ended up being very terrible. I don't know how this is going to end up. If this one ends up terrible, I'm just going to upload it. I can't. It's not that I can't bother with doing it, it's just recording RPG Maker games, at least for me, no matter what it is, has always been difficult. Whereas recording something like Gary's Mod, or Manhunt, or I think even Soul Reaver, I might have some footage of that. I sometimes record myself playing games, not really because I want to make YouTube videos, but just because it's something I like to do. I have tried to make a few videos on my own, but usually the stuff I upload to this channel is just kind of stuff I threw together. If I'm being honest, this video is probably, out of all of them, the only one that's actually sort of serious. The other ones are just kind of me getting experimental with a phone camera, if I'm honest. Let's see. Gun repair, dressers, literature study books. Okay. This next thing. Time for everything. This is verbatim. This is a thing that is in the place I live currently. I really enjoy this. It's a religious text, sort of. It's an interpretation of a part of the Bible. I know a lot of people aren't very religious nowadays. It's fine, whatever. I personally like this. It has a lot of duality to it, or dichotomy. I'm not sure which one. It's very stern, though, very stern. I'm worried that some people, or some players, would really not like sitting through and reading text, so I'm going to try and, through it a bit quicker. Okay, now you're gonna see something really funny. You need to create a cutscene from meeting Ozzy. I have Ozzy's room sprited, or I did. Looking back at it now, it needs some more work. I'm just gonna go get it. And Ozzy would have the bag up here, for which you could retrieve. So as most of you can tell, despite the amount of time I put into this, and the amount of effort I put into assets, hold on, let me make sure I've seen everything. Yeah, you can look at this painting too. Despite all the time and effort I put into this, I'm very ambivalent to it as a thing. A lot of the people, a few of the people who know about this have told me it's really good. I've spent a lot of time on it, and I'm going to spend a whole lot more time on it. I practically learned RPG Maker just to make this. Beforehand, a lot of people might remember, or might recall, look at the notebook, that I attempted to make at least a fangame in GameMaker. I'm not saying it can't be done. It can. Anything's possible. You can make at least a fangame in Unity if you wanted to. But my advice is stick to RPG Maker. I used to hate, or well, maybe hate's a strong word. I used to loathe this engine. I absolutely could not stand it. And I don't know how to phrase this next part, but I'm going to admit a few things, and I'm going to describe a couple of faults of mine. In that I am not an easy person to work with, and I'm not an easy person to be friends with. I have trouble with communication, I have trouble with anger, and I get excited easily over things other people don't. And some people like me. Some people think I'm alright. Other people can't stand me. And I've made a lot of enemies. I've made a lot of friends. I've made a lot of frenemies. And one of my frenemies, who I think I've already looked at this. I'm just gonna, even if I'm repeating myself or repeating my actions, I'm sorry. He attempted to help me create this, and he was actually the one who inspired me to basically redo Spiteful and give myself a second chance. I'm not going to say his name. I think that would be incredibly disrespectful to him as a person. He knows who he is. I'm not going to air dirty laundry publicly. I think that would be would be terribly unfitting of me, as I'm trying to improve myself as a person every time I can, if I can, when I can. A lot of people probably don't care, whatever. I don't think you can actually go. Yeah, you can't go to the left, there's nothing there. I was thinking of putting a highway here, where there would be people who stop you and say, hey, you can't leave, or just something. There's supposed to be a truck out here. I have the truck drawn. It's one of the earliest things I drew. However, it is not here. I just want I invented this map. Again, this is an older version. So this is Arcantos. We're no longer in Jericho. The first crossroads of this game take place in Arcantos. There are a few reasons I chose this setting, but I need to stay on topic because last time I recorded I did not, and I lost myself, and I said, a lot. So instead I'm going to try and gather my thoughts here. So, first I had a friend, or an old friend, I'm not sure if we're friends anymore, a friend of me, as I said, help me create the intro. The one with Melvin, he did really good. There were a few flaws. One of the events was supposed to be layered over a tile, and it wasn't correctly. I fixed that. The dialogue he had put in was ripped straight from my notes, and it wasn't very good. That's my fault. He did a great job putting it all together, though. He liked my assets. He was one of the few people who said, hey, I think you should try to make the Spiteful again, because I like the ideas you had for it. I've taken the story in a different direction this time, because it's less about being spiteful, and it was... Hold on, let me just get through the dialogue here. It was originally called, for a little bit, it was called Least of the Forbidden, because the idea was that this is the game that you weren't supposed to play. This is the one fan game that nobody expected to ever survive or make a comeback. I feel that other people have lost faith in me, in my will as a creator to finish projects, be them games or anything really. And I completely understand. I too lost faith in myself. After the Spiteful and after the controversies, and obviously it's dead history by now, I've been forgiven for that for the most part, if you know what I'm speaking of. But I had gone through a lot. This was junior year of high school, going into senior, and I was just exploring my sexuality. Then I didn't know what I am or who I am. Now, of course, being 19 instead of 16, 17, and a bit of 18, that doesn't go anywhere. I obviously know more about myself. I'm not going to come here yet. I'm going to show off a few other areas first. I've changed a lot as a person. There are still a lot of problems with me, obviously, and I'm trying to correct them. but I had gone to a mental facility for adolescents, and I want to state that a lot of media that's made, a lot of even art made about mental facilities is wrong. It's not a nut house. It's a place where people go to get legitimate help and therapy, and I would just like to say that therapy is really great. I needed therapy bad throughout most of my life, and I never got it until I had a breakdown and attempted suicide twice. That's a real thing. Happened because of a breakup, which, nowadays I'm well over, and I think of people differently than I used to. This is a neat little cutscene, isn't it? I don't even think this qualifies as a cutscene. This guy's kind of a prick, and I want you guys to hear some music that a good friend of mine made. So, hey, Ozzy's in my group. I need to show more about him. Kemarov Kalakalakam. I think that's how you say that. That is a made-up name as far as I know. Yeah, like I said, all of them are placeholder fights. They're of no importance. I haven't even changed the dialogue for when you win. So, that just shows you where my priorities are when it comes to game development. But as I was saying, I am talking about some serious issues. These are serious, real-life things. You can examine almost everything in here, I think, as with a lot of areas. This is the meat room. I never made it. It was an idea I had based off of a cut idea from the Pointless of all fan games. The sacred meat. I was going to have the sacred meat be in here, and there would be meat followers. I thought it was a bit too much, and I didn't do it. Please don't be another robber. If that kind of thing happens again, I might lose my job. Actual customers. I don't have any actual items for him. This is Taco Abyss. That guy is based off of a drawing I did. I don't have an image of it, like I do other things, but I drew what I imagined a friend of mine to look like. He dared me to. And I reused that design for something else that I wanted to do but never made. As I was saying, though, I think there's an area here. Oh no, I cut that area. My bad. You're going to see a lot of cut content. One thing I would like to ask the audience, if you're willing to kind of participate in some manner, tell me some things you'd like to see kept, and tell me some things that you don't think are really all that great for the game. I would be very thankful for any feedback at all, negative or positive. Now we're going to go to one of the more well-made maps. I think I've already spoken to him. I don't know if I've spoken to this guy. Yeah, I think I have. I've probably spoken to all of these people. But, yeah, I'm talking about real life right now, which I should be focusing on the game. Oh, here's another song I would really love. I think I'm going to go to the left first. All the falling and jump commands are in, so I don't have to levitate around like a Jedi. Ha 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 ha. I think the reason I'm talking about my life and what's been leading up to this game being shown today is because I don't have many outlets for speaking. I'm not currently on any medications, although I have gotten better since I ran out, which that's probably something I shouldn't talk about. But basically, my life has gotten simultaneously better and worse. A bit of advice that I give people every chance I get is, if you want other people to love you, or at least appreciate you, or whatever you're hoping to gain out of life, you should first learn to love yourself. I'm not trying to make this video about mental health or anything like that, but I do think it's a serious issue, and since this is the only video where I'm actually fully trying to comprehend what I'm saying as I go, I feel I should take some responsibility for things I've done and how I am. I'm not perfect. I don't think anyone is good or bad really fully currently from the people I've been dealing with. I think everyone I know who's harmed me has also done a lot of good, and a lot of people who've done a lot of good have also done a bit of harm. And I'm not saying that should be everybody's life philosophy, but try to do better. Strive to do better. You can always improve. Obviously, even as an artist, as a person, you can always do better. And just knowing you can, if you are upset, if you're making a fan game or a game or anything, if you're making any kind of creation, if you feel disappointed in what you've made, that's a good sign. And I'll tell you why that's a good sign. I don't remember where I heard this. It was from an older man in a video who was talking about art. But if you're disappointed in your art, that's a time for celebration. Because it means that you can do better. And you should strive to do better. I know a lot of talented people. Some of them like me, some of them don't. I can be an asshole sometimes. I'm not saying, I'm not a choir boy. But I try to be humble when possible. That's not to say that other people haven't done some really fucked up shit to me. That's happened several times in my life. But, I'm not going to dwell on that too much. Not right now. Not right now. This video is more about trying to show people that I can make a thing, and again, I'm not trying to air out any dirty laundry. I'm just speaking my brain as I go. I've been horribly stressed out lately. I don't have a lot of people to talk to. However, I am extremely thankful for the few people who I do get to talk to. I won't name them by name. I don't know if that would be a good thing to do currently, but I have huge respect for a lot of, I say a lot. To me, a lot is like maybe 3 or 4. I can barely handle myself sometimes. I'm not talking about serious, depressing stuff for the viewers. Let's talk about this scene that you're witnessing right now. This is the first cutscene I ever programmed into this game, entirely on my own. Well, hold on, let me try to remember. I had a little bit of help from 2 people who were working on the Pointless, and by help they just said, hey, this is how you do fade in and fade out, which you were about to see. Ozzy here fades in and fades out. How polite. This is Roscoe. This is a recurring character in the Feelies of things. I don't know if people have noticed. He is in the original Arcanthos mod. He was a really, really terrible resprite that I made, and the creator of that mod, Clovis, really, really talented fellow, great friend. But I did sprites for Arcanthos, as a couple people pointed out, and Roscoe was one of them. And I fell in love with him, just the idea of him being this persistent character in a few things that we do. I think he's still in the Pointless. I'm not sure. He's not in the current version, from what I know. But he was drawn, sprited, and that made my heart flutter. I love the fact that Roscoe is this just this random motherfucker we slam into a lot of projects. He's been drawn by a few of my friends, and every time he's drawn, it feels great. it feels great knowing that this fucking meme of a man is still around in some capacity. It feels like an in-joke, if anything. This is a cut area. This is not in the. This will not be in the final game. I cannot stand looking at this building. This is one of the earlier buildings I made. I can do much better now. Hutchison Lamination. Hutchison is the last name of two friends of mine, actually, brothers. I don't think they're watching this. And even if they did, I don't think they'd watch all of it, but if they did, I'm proud of you boys. You've done a lot of wonderful things for me. And if you don't like it, the hood's gonna love it. So, there's an item. Let me see. I'm gonna look at Ozzy real quick. I haven't talked about Ozzy. So this is the second party member you get. A young man with a dying world ahead of him, a small fraction of the militia is in his blood. This is the second description of him I'd written. The original one was a young and willing man capable of things he is not yet aware of. And then the current one, I think, I have it written down, but I haven't put it in the game. His last name is Carnby, and he uses an assault rifle as his weapon. There are some areas I'm not going to show. Either they're horribly placeholdery in nature, or I just don't think they'll be in the final game. However, the reason I'm coming through here is to show an interesting thing that I had done, or rather a sin, if you want to think of it like this. Here's this guy. He's staring at something, I'm sure, if you can see it on the video. This is Bonnie, scientist, has studied materials the public never knew about. And you are David, nice to meet you, although I have a question. Okay, we'll take the highway out of state. Is that so? Road trips are always pleasant, but I must ask you, have you seen a white door at the crossroads? So, there was a little mechanic I had in mind where I would use 2 or 3 switches to essentially tell if the player was actually lying or telling the truth. Where if you interacted with that door you might have seen earlier in the video, it would not, I mean, you could still say no, but you would be lying. He would ask you again, and you would say yes, and he would say, but you told me you did see it. I don't trust you, I'm not going to give you the key. Telling me the truth, I have no reason to lie. We did see the door earlier in the video. If you want to explore that area for items, you do this, you enter the key. Let's stop by and see what's in there before you leave. There is a bit of an error here, not a programming error, but a bit of a lapse in logic. Why would he give his only key to someone who might not go there? Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about Ozzy's journal yet. Door key, you're not sure about this one, you know, it said stay out. Earlier, maybe people who are focused in on the game might have noticed I picked up a journal. Write down and keep track of your thoughts, filled with doodles and descriptions. This is how you save your game. I do not have save crows in. I'm still debating if I should have them in. However, I figured just having, just to show that I'm using debug. There's something here. It's a frame picture of a little girl. I wonder who that little girl is. This Bonnie guy could disappear from here and then you could walk, but he only disappears after a certain thing happens, which is not in this build of the game. I will try to show that area later, but I have to teleport there. I can't just walk there. Again, sorry for rambling if that's annoying anybody. I'm trying to keep the pace up with myself. Let's go to the right. This is another unfinished. This game is unfinished. I don't think there's a single thing in this game that's final. Let's go in here. This is a bit of an asshole moment. This was originally going to be pain mode, this random switch, where if you tried the other ones, it would make the game less hard, and if you tried the main one, that would happen. I didn't do that for obvious reasons. I am still debating whether pain mode's going to be in here or not. I want to finish the game before I start messing with difficulty. I want to have actual fights in the game before I start messing with difficulty. This sprite was animated by a friend of mine who goes by Soul Daddy, S-O-L-E, yeah, Soul Daddy. It's a re-sprite of a different guy I had drawn, and he made him look a lot better, and he helped me animate him smoking. Gives you an item for listening to him. I didn't want all the NPCs to just be violent. I wanted some of them to be... Uh-oh. Other animation on. I wanted some people to be very relaxed. Here's the war. There's nobody here. You'll notice there's a common theme here you might have picked up on in this video. More of the video itself. Despite the amount of effort I put in, there's a lot of stuff that's just not done. Because it's not that I've lacked motivation to work. I've been working on this for a long, long time. It's that I know I can do... Oh, hold on. I know I can do better with certain things, and I think drawing NPCs is one of them. I do like this truck, though. I think this is a nice style. I might keep it. I'm not looking for just praise. I'm not looking for, strict compliments. I just wanted to show, what I had. You'll notice this green tile right here says animated fan. Like I said, it's a really rough build of the game. Hey partner, before you go, close up. You don't want to go that way. It's bad. We're bad. We'll manage. At least stock up on some good shit. Have to get my butt. Your butt goose slip. I forgot where I heard the term goose slip. I'm not sure if that's racist or prejudiced or anything. This guy used to own a building. He's a businessman. Talk to him again. We can go up here. I don't know why I'm still levitating, because the eventing for this area is done. There's going to be an item you can pick up right here. But just to showcase that this takes place in different states, or this is grounded up directly from Arcantos. Oh, hold on, what other items do I have? Pitaya liquor. I think that's how you pronounce that. Pitaya is dragon fruit, turned from the fruit of dragons, capable of getting you drunk. Dietary sausage, a quick medium meal. MRE, meal ready to eat, enough for an entire troop of men. This would feed your entire party. Fancy perfume. I haven't really touched the icons that much. Not recently. There are some things that I've added, but for the most part, you're not going to see all the items I have in the database for RPG Maker. This is a big computer. So weird wiring around here. This part of town is supposed to be infested. I don't think that has an area yet. With metalmen, which was going to be a mixture. It was going to be both a gang and a set of mutants. I will talk more about mutants later when I take you to a certain part of the game. Here's the key item we need for the truck, which is an alternator. I should state that in real life, you do not want to just yank out an alternator. You want to remove it very carefully. I don't know much about repairing cars, but I know a little bit, having lived the way I do. I can, change tires, check oil, dipsticks, things like that. But yes, you don't want to just rip out an alternator. That would fuck the alternator up, and then you couldn't use it. There's an error here in the text. Transitionary routes for carrier trucks, which highways. Okay, here is the issue. This game takes place on the west coast of America, not the east coast. So I fucked that up. And plus, this item, it says it was added. There is no item. I have the icon. I do not have the item put in. I'm going to redo the icon, and I'm going to redo how the item works. But essentially, you need repair things. I think we're done in this region. Oh, yeah, mapping isn't great, all that great. I'm just going to show you that I have been here earlier. So you can kind of go in circles around Arcantos, or at least this section of Arcantos. Going to show a lot of things. Water flows past loose clouds. You're going places. Despite how dirty it might look, the purple, you can drink this. It is clean. There's no water pump here, though. There would be one in a nearby village. I'm going to look at that church in just a second. But first, let me see this guy. I must watch over our mother. She's the only one who ever mattered. Unless you have an ATF pass. Okay, so you can buy passes off of this guy, counterfeit passes, which count as just regular passes. Okay. That would heal your party. I had a friend of mine ask me why that is. Why looking at a statue of Mother Mary heals your party? I don't really have an answer. Because women are a rarity, and who is, aside from Eve, who would be like the ultimate woman to see? Oh, Mother Mary. Sons of the Soil. Here's a church. Something I will critique about other fan games. I'm not trying to toss dirt, but a lot of Lisa fan games have, the churchgoers or, Christians in some manner, to where, okay, so I'm going to explain a few things here. A lot of the fan games, and this isn't, it's not a bad thing, it's fine, art is art, but usually it's kind of just, you have a group of people who look like creatures, and they're just another Lisa game. They just fight, they just kill whoever, they call everybody else sinners. I figured it would be better of me if I showed that classic hospitality. You can take items from here, they don't mind. We don't side with local games, we're neutral pacifist. Although I think the ATF. Okay. This is just a minor critique of other fan games. It's nothing major, I understand. They are an interesting, creatures, like a gang of creatures that's pretty cool. You can do a lot of cool things with that. I just thought, hey, these guys just hanging out in a church, they're nice, they're not trying to hurt anybody. They're stuck between a conflict between two gangs, and they know that you're just kind of a traveler, so you can read the memos. Yeah, I figured this would be an interesting side area. I might redo the tile sets for this, though, as, again, a lot of the assets you're seeing are older, and I'm talking a big, big game up for the other builds that I'm not going to show, but again, very experimental, and I'm nowhere near willing to share them with other human beings. So, let's stop this. Follow your heart. Oh, that's nice. Amen. Okay, religion is not a thing. You'll notice that when you save your game, it usually has to do with paper. You want things to get weird. Uh-oh. That's the Reverend's personal office. There isn't much in there. I'm just going to kind of go through this real quickly. He ends up being kind of nice. I think I already took the shovel. Oh, I didn't. My bad. Having flashbacks to the first and second time I recorded this. A lot of items. This game is not balanced in the slightest. Okay, so again, despite how long I've been working on this, it's still very, very rough for the most part. Here's another mechanic I wanted to have where you could dig these things, like, and not just in this area. I wanted it to be throughout the rest of the game, if at all possible. So you'd have to go through Metal Town to get back over here. I wanted it to have a very loopy sensation. However, if you go over here, the transitionary segment isn't here. The village that's to the right, it is completed, at least the mapping is. However, I think the tiles could use some work. And I also, it's basically a build-up to two things. Earlier, you'll notice a few NPCs mentioned that the ATF make you take a quiz before you join. That was going to be a kind of silly moment. And then the ATF guys, if you joined them, they were going to let you in. They were going to send you on basically a suicide mission into the next area I'm about to show. So buckle up. I have to pause the video editor for just a second. Okay, and we're back. So the ATF would bring you here and ask you to go rescue someone. And I mentioned earlier that I was going to talk about mutants, joy mutants to be precise. The thing about my game, I don't know if I'm going to sound stuck up or not. I'm trying not to be a dick. I'm just trying to be as honest as possible today. The idea was that you would assume that joy mutants would be in the game. It's at least a game you're expecting joy mutants. This is a spoiler. I'm sorry. There are no joy mutants in this game. Come on, chicken. Also, because I had to reload the game, Ozzy is no longer in my party. Isn't it funny? The mutant chicken, it's not even a mutant. But essentially, there were going to be like horses of joy mutants in this one lab. But no joy mutants in the whole game. There would be mutants of different varieties. I think that the setting of Lisa, to a certain extent, does allow for you to sort of, you know, maybe not go crazy with it, unless you want to. You know, it doesn't matter that much. But it does allow for more things to be there other than just, oh look, it's joy. It's a very imaginative setting. I don't think you can just interject things into it too harshly. Again, if you're willing to try it, you know, I'm sure people are willing to play it. Famously, at least amongst the fandom, the creator of Lisa, Austin Jorgensen, stated, everything is canon. I feel two ways about this. I'm not sure if that was just him being lazy and not really wanting to deal with the fans, or if he maybe, and this is just me giving him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he just didn't want conflict to rise over things that he didn't make. So instead of just saying, oh, well, so-and-so is canon, but this other game isn't, he just said, yeah, whatever, everything's canon. There are pros and cons to saying that, so I have mixed feelings about Austin Jorgensen as a person, or at least as a developer. As a person, I don't hate him. I don't really like him. I feel like Lisa was kind of an accident, especially the painful. I really enjoyed Lisa the first. We'll be talking about that later. But I think that as a series, he did not handle it very well towards the end. I don't know if Lisa's over. He might come back to it, maybe. It's a really good setting for RPGs. It's a really good setting for JRPGs and tabletop, and just in general, I think it's a very, very cool setting. No women, all men. What's happening in the world? However, talking about fan games, and this isn't something I hate. I don't absolutely hate it. I don't think you should do it, but a lot of fan games do. They have women in their fan games, which that's fine. It is what it is. I think people are allowed to create whatever they want. However, I think to be respected, you need to have some semblance of structure alongside the source material, at least when it comes to making what is essentially a free expansion pack or mod. To quote a friend, I think they're a friend still, I don't remember who said this, but basically every Lisa fan game is just a mod of the painful. Even the pointless. They're all mods, if you think about it in that way. That's not to discredit people. A lot of effort goes into these. I should know firsthand. It's a lot of hard work, especially for barely any payoff. I guess there's no money to be made. They're fan games. I'm doing this because I want a career in making video games. And this is a story I wanted to tell. I find it very personal. And it's very interesting. And it works with the setting. I think that the story I have going for it is, it would fit with Lisa for the most part. It's not going to be entirely perfect, I don't imagine. This next thing, now that I'm done talking about that, I'm very proud of this. I don't remember which month it was. It was earlier this year. I woke up at 3 in the morning. I had just finished those first 2 rooms first 3 rooms before this, and I said, I don't want just another staircase. I want to make the floors more interesting for this building. Floor 2 has nothing. So I spent from 3 a.m. till 10:30 a.m. I had to leave, get off the computer, help with my grandfather. That's what I do. I live here, so I'm going to help as best I can. And all the time I had working on the game, I had made this. Now you may think this looks very simple, and it does look very simple. If I were to show you the code for this, the amount of images and switches I use just to make a working, functioning elevator that goes between floors and has the correct layout for each floor, it was insane. And I like to think I've gotten a lot better at using RPG Maker since these rooms were made. I'm going to go ahead and warn people, there's a lot of reading involved in this section. It's a laboratory, there's a lot of memos, liquidized cobalt, which I wrote down the actual formula for, despite me not actually fully knowing it. We killed Mango, or I killed Mango. I had someone play this section for me once over a Discord call, and he was very sad to learn the name of the chicken he had murdered, because he chose to kill the chicken, just like I had. You can spare Mango, so your choices have consequences. So this used to be a forensics lab. All of this stuff was brought down here. Other stuff was moved out. The idea was that all the forensic stuff was moved out to the 2nd floor, which I never sprited. But it was going to be where a couple ATF guys hung out, and they told you what they thought was down here. But they're too chicken to go down here. Chicken. they're too chicken to go down here and look for themselves because the doctor is missing. Also, hey, beer. Around the time I started doing more memos, I realized I did a lot of writing, and not everybody was going to want to read it. I don't know if these memos you're going to see in the video are going to be in the final game. I like them to a certain extent, but they are rather lengthy for, you know, an RPG Maker game. But basically, I'm just going to sum this up. This is an old book about science and agricultural jobs coming together to try and solve problems like world hunger, but also how to create life using plants, which was inspired by a few things. But I really like the idea of, again, more than just joy mutants, but other types of things being in the game. New humans, briefly. So the doctor, well, he has a PhD, so he is a doctor, but he wrote down on top of existing text and was like, this is all I could find. Liquids. Vegetation. This is a containment unit for some kind of plant, some form of life. You can run your fingers along this. It makes a noise. Edit residence. I don't know how David would know that. That's an overlook on my part. Control panel. He doesn't know what that does. But. So I think because this was based off of an MRI machine I once saw on an image. I wanted to recreate it. We're going to go down to the second basement. This is where things get a little bit weird. What's down here, it's sort of cut content. I'm really debating on whether I should keep these guys or not. But let me get an item. I love the music in this area, though. It has a pulse. I don't want to think about this. Blood packs. So there's some kind of meat. I'm not sure if it's human meat, but there's some kind of meat that is somehow functioning alongside. Oh no. Oh no. I think that actually, yeah, gives you depression if you look at this. Soaked lab coat, Mikey S. So, this tree has a pair of glasses on it. That's weird. Oh, I wonder what was going down in this strange laboratory that's not many people go into. Also, there's blood here. I can hear God breathing. Oh, that's nice. Let's just keep going. Pills. Due to the nature of these surroundings, you decide not to touch or pick them up. Here's another memo. There's a magazine. This is a, this was written I think a week after The Flash. One thing I should state, I also don't like characters referring to The Flash directly. I don't like... Oh, hello. I don't like it when characters in Lisa games, aside from Norm, refer to The Flash as The Flash. I think they should have different ideologies and different phrases for what it was. I wanted to have one of the church guys say that the women were raptured away because they're pure compared to men who are impure. A lot of weird things. I don't know if you can hear that on the microphone, but one of the kittens in this room is screaming because the mom is eating food and it's not sharing. Oh Lord, they're bathing each other. What did it say? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I really shouldn't be. We have a lot of animals here. One of the things, and I've mentioned this, there's a little bit of other lore from a different game that I did not change that I needed to. Yeah, a lot of writing. I'm actually thinking of just cutting this memo entirely. He's basically saying don't come down here, and mutants are bad. So, but I do like the magazine. I don't like characters referring to the Flash as the Flash, as I said a moment ago, because I think that there should not be one universal idea as to what this thing was in universe. I think that many of the survivors would have different ideas on what happened to the women and what they can do about it or what they can't do about it. Let's see, what's in this hallway here? Uh-oh, I don't think we can go anywhere in here. But yes, I think that different interpretations of the Flash would be a much neater idea. Speaking of neat ideas, I came up with this one where you can't see anything, you can't see the entrance, but if you notice, one of these splash animations is different. And that's because where there's blood, there's a hole. I think we should go down in here. This is a cut area. I'm going to rework it, but basically this is a part of the laboratory where vegetation has completely taken over. And the reason you're seeing two Davids, that's not a glitch, these were here, I'm going to remove them, I think, is that in crawling through the hole, what happens is the screen stays dark and it says you feel a light breeze. The implication, I don't know if players would interpret it right off the bat, but basically there's a hormone. Oh, that is a loud song. I love it though. A hormone being sprayed. Oh, there's one of the mutants I was hinting at. A hormone that makes you hallucinate. This guy is a mixture between a creep and a plant. He is the only one in this build. However, I sprited, I think, 5 in total, and each of them was more and more grotesque and plant-like. So this is all there is to this map. I stopped working on it after a friend of mine said that the plant creatures were too cliche. I disagree a bit. I think they're pretty interesting. I think something cool could be done with them. This is a completely optional area, though. I'm stuttering a bit. I haven't eaten any food today. Actually, that's not true. I had a sandwich earlier, but I haven't eaten lunch. I ate breakfast, but not lunch. My stomach is hungry. And as most people know, I am a very fat person. And fat people lore, we need to eat constantly, unlike humans. I'm just kidding. I'm really hungry right now. I would stop and go eat something and then come back, but I want to knock this out as best I can while I'm still thinking about things. I have to cut to a different map. I will be right back in just a moment. Okay, here we go. So as you'll remember, hold on, there we go. As you might recall, I think I can sprint on this map, although you're not supposed to sprint because you're old. I mentioned a door that said stay out, a white door. That leads you into a thing, a passageway, and you end up here. I'm going to sprint even though I'm not supposed to, just because I feel like it. And as I was saying a second ago, literal seconds ago, I am quite hungry, and my brain is sort of racing more and more because of that. I'm not going to put too much light on that because I have been losing weight these past few months. I do a lot of yard work when I can. I help my uncle and my grandmother. However, my weight has been the subject of many jokes and harassment. I was angry about it for a long time, but I feel like my direction in life changed to a point where I really don't give a damn anymore about that kind of thing. I'm not sure why I'm talking about this. I'm a very unsure person. Artificial peaches. Oh hey, this area was inspired by a movie. I'm not even going to tell you what movie. If you can't figure it out, that's fine. Just know I am a huge slasher movie fan, as cheesy as that seems. But yes, I'm just going to say 1974. So there you go. So here's the piss room. As I was saying, here's the piss room. Sorry, something fell down on the desk. The piss room is disgusting. I love it. I love that there's just a random piss room. I wanted to make this place as disturbing as possible. Uh-oh. Stationary bus saw. It's got blood on it. Ooh. 9-volt battery. This area, it's not cut. I do think I should rework it. This was when I started to try and make a contrast between the bright and colorful parts of the game and have the really dark and grungy vibe. I don't know I don't know all of the fan games that are known of in Lisa, the fandom, but I haven't really seen one that tackles, like, the stuff I would want to see in games, so I decided to take it upon myself to make them. And I wanted to have a whiplash of bright and colorful, and then dark and sinister and very, very grungy. The few people who I've shown this to prior to this video, they really enjoy my tile sets, even if I do think they could use a bit of work. They really enjoy how I go for gradients, and I go for kind of this, like, this weird texturing I do. I don't know how to explain it. There are a couple of terms that I know of. When I was making the Spiteful, the original version, I used to do this thing called Frankensteining, where I didn't know how to really draw sprites all that well by hand, so I would take a couple sprites from the Painful or Joyful, and I would, like, use MS Paint and just dissect them and change the colors and the faces, and I would make new sprites. Obviously now I do almost everything freehanding, although, as you can tell, some things like this table is from Lisa, like regular Lisa. The colors are just different. Now I freehand almost everything. I think that I have grown as an artist since those days. It's been a long time, I'm sure people understand that developing a game takes a long time, and sometimes games go through different iterations. I think Lisa the Painful actually went through 2 or 3 different versions before we got the final version. If I interact with this deer, that will crash the game. That's a test fight. It had a placeholder song that I had made. Not very good. I just stuck it in because I wanted to see how the colors would look swirled in this area for a fight. You fight a family here. This is the Mutler house, which leads into a cave. Which I have the cave laid out in the engine. I just don't have the room ready for eventing. And it would lead you into like a small town that's literally called Murder Town. So, oh, sorry, a lot of noise is going on, getting distracted. I apologize. And that was one of the last areas I had worked on, so I'm going to cut over to Murder Town real quick. It's very, like I said, this whole build is rough. The current build it's not rough because it isn't really, it's mostly just like the fundamental parts of the game put together. Mostly, again, I haven't shared it with anyone except myself. I've considered sharing it with certain people or a certain person who has been keeping me going and trying to show me how to utilize my strengths as a developer. But I'm going on and on right now. Let me just cut over to that map, and we're back. I'm sorry for cutting back and forth. The game isn't entirely pieced together. I'm just going to spawn here. That guy up there was... I think you can actually interact with him. Yeah. Oh, this music. I'm not going to share that song right away. That is a song I had made. That was actually the placeholder song. That audio clip is a secret. Oh boy. I did not mean to interact with him. Also, yeah, you can't open them. So here's the highway sign. You got Arcantos is up, Jericho is to the left, and Olethe is to the right. So this section of the game, the first part, the first crossroads, like I said, is Arcantos. It's the lower part of Arcantos that has a highway and the borders and whatnot. Going to the left would take you back to California. Going to the right would take you to Olethe. The character of David and his assistant, his new assistant Ozzy, who is not on the menu because I spawned here. He's trying to help. Ozzy's trying to help David get back to Jericho to try and solve a problem. And again, light spoilers, but you may remember Melvin from the intro. Melvin is a very important character to David. I don't know whether to assume it's clear why or why not. I'm going to just let the audience, or let you, the viewer, figure things out on your own. It's, you know. Here's a hanging body. And some saw blades. The murder cave, which I will probably throw an image up in the video, just to show that yes, it is mapped, has these hanging blades, as well as chainsaws, and a vice clamp, or vice grip. I think it's a clamp. I'm just going to show falling. These don't work. I don't think this works. Yeah, there's no A layer tile right there. You can go out here. It says crack inside. I guess, you know, aside from joy, which is the only drug you really ever hear about in Lisa, I do imagine there would be things like marijuana, opium, opioids, heroin, crack. I do assume that those drugs still exist in this. Well, that's not supposed to happen. I do imagine those are supposed to exist in this. Let's see. And free crack. There was actually an NPC in this spot right here. I had to remove him during the last recording because he caused a crash. Funny thing, the crash is not because of anything to do with RPG Maker. It has to do with Windows. That crash was because his character sprite sheet name was in Russian lettering, the word friend, a little joke between me and another friend of mine that we speak about. Too old for these stairs, never too old for the streets. Amen, brother, amen. Search here, rows of boxes. Handwriting is too poor. If you search in the boxes, you will find an item which was for a planned area, a recreation of the power plant from Arcantos. There's a Geiger counter. Found in an unlikely place. That's neat. If you examine these boxes again, I think he says, looking back in the boxes, you do wonder how that thing ended up here of all places. You were going to find a dead body of a guy in a radioactive hazmat suit, and that would, you know, put two and two together. I know explaining things outright probably isn't a good idea, but again, I don't know how much of this is going to be in the final game. I do know that I enjoy a lot of these ideas, and I think I could flesh them out a bit more. I don't know. I know it's a free crack, but a friend of mine went down in the basement. I think he was killed. You look for him. Another thing, David offers to help people quite often. Don't even smoke. Okay. I think that's all for the David sections that I can show currently. I'm going to jump to a different part of the game. It'll be a bit more interesting, I think, later in the game. Let me just go ahead and cut to it. Okay, so I decided since this isn't live or live stream, I don't know how to do those. I kind of figured I'd take a break. I'd go grab something to eat. I'd calm down, you know, gather my thoughts a bit more. I mean, I have a couple problems that I'm dealing with right now, and trying to avoid having a panic attack. I'm not going to mention why. It has nothing to do with this video. It is completely unrelated to that. Let me just make sure it's recording. It is. Okay, good. I'm using OBS, which is not software I'm used to. When I was younger, way younger, back when I used a Windows XP Service Pack 2, I had pirated Fraps off Pirate Bay. It probably had a virus, but I used Fraps. Forgot what I used to record though, because I've been using YouTube since 2009 maybe, and not like uploading things. I had a couple of channels I made dumb stuff with or on, but nothing substantial like this. But I have been using the internet since I was probably about 9, 10. A bit older, probably 13. 13 onwards, I really got into it. I remember the first time I played Team Fortress 2 was actually on the PlayStation 3. Ooh, how times have changed for Hunter, for me. Yeah, it was I ate another sandwich because earlier today I had Sloppy Joe, and then a while ago we got a lot of bread, so I made a peanut butter sandwich and ate some chips. So, despite my weight, I am a big fella. I call myself fat. Some people hate that when I call myself fat, and they say, "No, you're husky. You're not fat." And then other people, people who really don't like me, do nothing but call me fat, and it gets fucking annoying. Just pumping out some truth bullets there. But yes, I gathered my thoughts, and I remembered that I'm going to talk about this segment of the game, which, I think that, yeah. Okay, so this is Lisa the First. This is just Lisa the First with Aussie, which is actually a glitch where you're still David, you're supposed to be just... Actually, command disable menu was originally used here, but then I remembered that you actually do need to pick up items here, so I'll have to do a workaround at some point. You don't have a videotape? Let's go find one. Although I'm going to showcase a bug that I found later, a little bit later. let's just explore. So there are quite a few maps. They're really big. Not a lot of assets, but I had made, believe it or not, the least of the first assets are the oldest ones, as far as I remember, the oldest ones I have. Because at one point I wanted to remake Lisa the First and call it Lisa the Second, and it was just going to be Lisa the First but with painful assets, or in the painful style. I never did that, and the context for this part of the game is nowhere to be found for the viewers, and I'm sorry. But this segment took me 6 days to completely program. It's not perfect. There are some things that still need a little bit of work, like minor things I'd written notes on. I let someone stream this, a build of this that was just this segment. You're actually going to see, that ending. Just a second. I love that. You can sprint as Ozzy, because he's not an old man like David. As I was saying, though, I was really inspired by Lisa the First. I'm not going to climb the rope, so you'll just have to see that. I think it's actually on that stream I mentioned. I wasn't friends with him, but I came to know the guy. I'm not going to mention him. Most of you who, probably know who he is. I don't hate him. I just, he did something, he wronged me, and instead of accepting it and just apologizing, he pulled an excuse out of his ass and insulted me in a way that I can't even comprehend. And I'm going to quote him verbatim. One of the complaints he had about me, especially with my game, he said he didn't have any faith in it, which, fine, fair enough. Some days I don't either. But he said that I was making too much progress. I'm not lying. That is 100% a fact. This next area doesn't have an item. I'm just going to go show it. It just boggles my mind how frantic things are for some people. And again, I'm not going to just sit here and trash talk this person. I'm well over it. But, hold on. You're able to see them sometimes. Yeah. Let's see if I can... There he is. You might recognize this place, it's Mama Town. Yeah, I'm not just gonna trash talk other people. At least I hope I don't come off as being rude. But a lot of what I'm saying is sincere. There are people who have insulted me horribly and have made me feel really terrible. Some people who feed into a lot of negative things about me. That's not to say that, everybody is horrible. I'm horrible, in my own way. But I like to imagine, I like to think better of people, and at times that has gotten me into like a lot of trouble. Not of myself. I tend to think poorly of myself, or I used to. I think I'm pretty okay. I'm pretty okay guy. Yeah, sure. I don't know why I'm. Oh, I thought that was silly. I didn't know what to put out here. I didn't want just another monster that just growls. I wanted something out of the ordinary to happen. I'm talking a lot about some stuff that's really personal to me, when really I should be talking about the game. Because really the game is all that matters at this point. Everything else is just, well, to the viewers, inconsequential. To me, it matters a lot, but, I have my detractors and people who really can't stand me, and then I have the people who still support me, and I'm glad I have those people around. There's a lot of drama in our fandom. It's even it's become quite mimetic to a certain degree. I know this probably isn't the right instance to talk about this. I might do more videos about this thing in the future. Maybe, as progress gets made. This is months of progress being crammed into one video. And I still don't even feel it's enough. I don't feel I'm doing enough. I feel very self-conscious about this thing. I take it very slowly and very seriously. Even to the point to where, oh yeah, you can't get hurt when you're in the Health Scape, which is a word that I coined, which I'm not going to explain. It has more to do with my game than Lisa the First. I'll say that much. But can't go in here. Nobody around. Why is there a rock? Oh, it's bug. Get an item. You cannot go in there. However, if you use debug, that's supposed to be in here. So there you go. I guess I could talk about the Health Scape. So, there's a part of the game, I don't have the intro finished for it. There's an introduction to it. It's called the Health Scape, and it sounds pretty generic, but I promise I'm doing my best to make it somewhat unique. And this is one of the segments in it where you go through Lisa the First as Ozzy. The explanation for it I will not reveal at this time, but outside of the art, in terms of just programming, it took me 6 days to make this, as I had said. Forgot to add events here. It's not perfect, but I was really proud of it because I didn't think I could do it. I thought it would take like a month. It only took under a week, like right under a week, to recreate first. If enough people want me to, just for the sake of having it, I could go full on with this and just release a separate thing where you play as Lisa. I thought about doing that, but I feel it would take away from the uniqueness of the Forsaken, so I'm probably not going to do that. Feel free to drop any thoughts you have, any comments or questions. Hold on a second. There's a tile missing right here. There's still a jump event. That's odd. If you have anything to say really about any of this, I'd be more than willing to read whatever people write. If anybody even finds this, I don't even know. I don't even know if anybody would pay attention enough. Let me check something real quick. Okay, so I'm going to showcase that glitch I talked about. I fixed it with the second one, but I'm going to go ahead and teleport to Candle. This tricky rig, you automatically kill. He doesn't say his line, you just cut him. So the context for the next thing that's about to be read is kind of missing. I figured out how to fix it with this guy, though. Do you really think that would work? I believe you. You'll swallow me, get over it. Gonna do that where it would be good. Stuff the pills down the hole in his head, and then we get the sword. This part of the game is almost coming to an end. The soundtrack is, I mean, obviously, it's from Lisa the First, which, despite not being as detailed as Lisa the Painful and Lisa the Joyful, I find Lisa the First soundtrack to be the most engrossing as a form of music. It's very strange. Oh, I didn't mean to click it twice, I'm sorry. This is the royal area. Here's a golden trash can full of money. There's a picture of a thing. And yeah, go in here. You can see the lobby, and you get a videotape. But really, recreating Lisa the First was mostly just a personal challenge, because I wanted to see if it could be done, and it can. This isn't perfect. It's a lot quicker than Lisa the First, and it lacks certain details, definitely, because you're not playing as Lisa. You're playing as this other guy or person. Wish I had some popcorn. I haven't seen a movie in years. And that concludes this build. Okay, I'm gonna cut back to a recording in just a second. Yeah, sorry for the cuts over and over again. I'm gonna piece this together in editing. This next part is more of a proof of concept, and spawned in the wrong spot. This fades in, and it's a fake out. So I'd like you to meet Hooper. Hooper is the third party member, and you're about to figure out where his place is amongst the main cast. He's been resprited. I hate the sprite in this build. The orange jacket thing, it's bad. It's not good. The newer sprite, which I can't show right now, he has more of he has a different color. And he actually has an outfit, and he looks like a person. So, as I mentioned, a lot of the story is sort of based off of real stuff that I kind of dealt with when I was a bit younger. Again, dealing with sexuality or homosexuality and things of that nature, dealing with other people, and finding out where I belong in the world. Of course, not all of it is, some of it's just kind of an exaggeration. I'm not going to tell which is and isn't. I feel this flashback could be done better, although I like how simplistic it is compared to what I want to do with the other characters in the story. I should say that the character of Hooper is based off of somebody who used to be very awful. Just for the record, this person is not as awful as they used to be. Again, it's been years since any of the actual real-life stuff went down. I've forgiven myself, I've forgiven them, they've forgiven me. There's still some not good stuff there, but, this is just, the Spiteful started out as me venting, essentially. And then over time, I kind of figured, oh, I can actually tell a story with this that means something. People can take, different interpretations from, and maybe make them feel something about their own lives. I don't know what kind of life you live. I'm not going to tell you what kind of life you should live. Not everything is in your control. Not everything is in my control. But what is in our control, I would hope we try to do our best. And here we go. Okay, this area was cut. This is awful. This is a very early thing I did. Actually, the tiles, like the lava ground and flesh meat, is used in another part of the game, which it doesn't fit here. It's supposed to be crystal ground. But again, this was a cut area. I think I could do Hooper's segment a lot better. This is the tower. The tower was actually I don't think you can go in here. There's nothing there. Yeah, this I actually got the idea for this right here. From a dream I had where my soul got taken and then put into like wet cement, and I became the cement, and then I grew into a tower, and people would walk inside of me. That's strange, and I probably shouldn't tell people about that, because that's a really weird dream, but I wrote it down, and I said, I bet I could probably put the tower in my game somehow. Yeah, that's a neat thing. I have to cut the recording again to change my player position in RPG Maker. You're going to see this title screen a lot in the video, from what I know. Okay, so spawn in. This is a village. It's called Whitlog. It's spelled kind of funny. And this is where you meet the fourth party member. So there's a pig person. Pig people probably do not belong in Lisa, but my excuse for that is don't drink the blue potion. This is a very simple tile set, but I quite like it. I like the oak wood doors. I like the freaky trees. It was kind of inspired by a couple different games. 3 I'm going to name off my hand. That's Dark Souls, which is a game I bought used and played with my best friend one night, and we loved it. I have it on Steam. I do not have a controller, and I was told not to play it with the keyboard and mouse. I was also inspired by Soul Reaver, which is a fantastic game. I highly recommend it. And Zelda 2, which is where the idea for like a small village came from. There's no jumping events here. I love the song in this part of the game. Oh god. This is actually an older track that a friend of mine gave me. Even though I don't think it fits a night theme, for some reason it reminds me of this area, and I thought it fit very well. You will not be seeing Dimitri in this video. He is in the game's files, or at least you won't see him in this part of the video. You will probably see him, maybe, if I decide to show certain things. But yes, he is the fourth party member. I don't know, I'm really doing this on the fly. The Deathbringer, you will see the Deathbringer, which the rest of this map isn't finished. So, oh no, I'm falling to reality. Ah, gotta cut back again. You're about to see something that, this is a weird part. So, in order to get to the third part of the game, you have to go through this Whitlog village, which is connected to an even bigger hub area where more stuff happens. This is like... This dialogue needs some work, definitely, in my opinion. One of my mentors, or one of the people who are helping me bring more quality into the game, really did not like this that much. It feels like I'm, like when I read this, I feel like I'm watching like a third generation anime. It's really oddly, I don't know what to make of it. Basically the idea is that the game is sort of about cycles. I haven't reflected that very much. In the second report I did, which I can't upload because of quality issues, I did explain that the game is about a cyclical formation of time. However, for me at least, different memories and bits of time exist within, a manner for which people can re-experience them, although not exactly. And that's a really strange thing to form a plot around, especially in a Lisa game. But the cycle basically refers to life. It's just the game, it keeps getting replayed, or the events keep happening over and over. It's just different people, different things. I don't think that's a spoiler. There will be some strange things I do with it. Hold on, let me just show the sprite. Okay. I need to remove that out of the skills menu. This is the Deathbringer. He's also a placeholder. He was going to be a boss fight where he just cuts you up. And he knows who David is, even though David barely knows him. He turned to stone. I'm not going to explain why right now, because there's more I have to show. I'm actually running out of stuff to show, though I want to say more, but I can't show much more, because there are things that I'm not ready to show, and the things you're saying may or may not be final. Nothing is concrete, but I'm just showing that yes, I have been working on a game, and I hope to complete it. I've been having financial troubles and family relation issues, and problems with other people in general and myself. However, things aren't all bad. This game has kept me kind of glued together. It's astounding that I can say that and actually mean it, but it is what it is. Not everything's bad. There's some stuff that's pretty okay. But it's personal stuff. I'm just here to show you guys the fan game I'm working on. Let me cut to some other stuff. This is some legitimately cut content. So this was one of the optional areas besides Whitlog. It's nowhere near even started, really. I just... Uh-oh. Yeah... The build-up to what this was going to be was just a really strange state fair where clowns are horrifically experimented on and are treated as not being people. Oh, hold on, what's the sign say? Yeah, see? And then the mascot's a duck. You can go over here. Some people might recognize the sound here. I have a really strange fascination with number stations. And this is a little tune that plays on one. I tracked down an audio file and put it alongside a speaker sounding thing that I made. So that's neat. I don't know if I'm gonna do the fair thing, so there's that. Okay, I'm gonna try and show a few battle animations. The ones for David were not animated by me. A friend of mine got a hold of them early on and decided to put his own animations in one of the oldest builds of the game. That friend was Monkey Plate. He's an anomaly, but I love him. I love him to bits. I think he's really clever. I don't know how his fan game is going. I know he's working on one. I was really interested in it. Extremely interested in it. That's Lisa the Insane, which was just amazingly strange to watch. And he did the initial set for David. I think he did one for Ozzy. I might have modified it, but I started to learn how to do animations through Hooper and Dimitri, mainly Dimitri, and then I kind of went in and did slight edits to the others. So I'm just gonna wail on this chicken to show. Seizure warning. If I use chameleon shelling, you know, just be warned. I think I might do that, and then. There's one. There you go. We're just gonna beat on the chicken. We're gonna beat the chicken. Let's beat the chicken. Come on. Let's beat him. I need more TP. Skills. Here's a cut attack. Oh god, I still love it though. Well, let's just go. Oh hey. That's every item in the game. Okay, cool. There's the oil filter, which you need for the truck, along with the alternator. There's the razor, which you saw earlier, and the pill bottle. Then you have wound cleaner, which was basically just going to be like perfume, but better. And then you had like the different steak. You had like a rare steak, medium rare, medium well, and well done. Well done was actually going to be an item that you just threw. Like there's a rock, you just toss it. You don't want to eat a well done steak. Come on. Bottle of kerosene can cause burn and poison. Bottle of urine. I forgot what it does. It's gross. Remember the piss room? That's the only room in the game you could get one of these from. Artificial peaches. And some of these aren't edited at all. Okay, so just go to. Oh yeah, and Aussies. I figured out how armors and accessories work, but before then, I thought that they were literally just items that you assign to certain characters. So I made Aussie's favorite cassette, which is like a you know, like that item in every Lisa game. It's like the dead flower. It's just a character has it. It's like a memento. And Aussie's favorite song is Burning Sunset. Okay, from Lisa the Painful. So, I don't know if any of these work. So I'm just gonna not use an item. I'm gonna just guard. And try this. And then we'll do Deadly Freeze. Do another one. Oh, fucked up. I'm gonna try and hit that button while I still can. Guard. Damn. Oh wait, hold on. No, wait. I have all the items. I don't know why I'm. Blue pill. There we go. Tea. Not gonna do anything. Okay, so I was gonna add a seizure warning to whatever website I put the game up on, because some of the imagery I use is very bright, flashy, and colorful, and this move that Aussie's gonna do is one of them, and it helps him hide. I'm just gonna. There we go. Yeah. Sorry. You were warned though. But basically that's how he would hide. Just gonna keep going. Wait, how did that not? Okay. This is the most powerful shit in ever exist. I still need to figure out how combos work. I think it's kind of similar to how the timed button works. I mean, I'm not completely sure, but I dug around Lisa the Painful and Lisa the Joyful to kind of get a feel of how Austin programmed the combat in the game, and it seems I'm on the right track. I'm not sure. You're looking at again one of the earlier builds, which I haven't even touched the battle in a while. I wanted, and these sprites we're looking at right here, these are older sprites. I've been redoing them lately. That's actually what kind of kickstarted this idea in me to do a more experimental build where I try to exemplify my urges to do better, and this is one of them. Still can't do that. There we go. If this part of the video is boring, I'm sorry. If this video in general was boring, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for a lot of things. The game is not one of them, though. I'm quite proud of this so far. It's been a long, long time. Okay. Oh, damn. I'm gonna hit that button just to show you that it works. Oh god, what if it crashes? Like right as I say that. Guard. / guard. Guard. Oh weird. Probably gonna kill the chicken. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna run this test again. Hold on. Also, another thing I should mention, I'm just gonna use Hooper for this. His weapon actually changed. He no longer uses the billhook, which is what that big ass sword is. I'm still planning out what he should use. I think just having a big ass sword, it's a bit much. Yes. Okay. I'm trying to hit that button this time. No, hold on. Back. Guard. Guard. Damn it. I mean, you can see it. You clearly know it works. Jesus, this is driving me crazy. Okay, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. I'm just gonna do whatever. Generic RPG Maker attacks. I think the battles are the one thing I have barely touched on. I know the kind of like boss fights I want. I know like the character moments I want battles. But coming up with just like, you know, small games and stuff, it's not really my thing. You know, hold on. Oh damn, I didn't even have the circle that time. It's random. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, come on. Gonna make Hooper do all the work. But David does the combos. Hooper is more about speed and just hitting whatever he can. David's very one-on-one. He takes out one person at a time. I wanted Hooper to be very AoE, area of attack. And I wanted Ozzy to be a mixture of both. David uses the command wheel, as a lot of people call it. Hooper uses, again, timed button presses, and then Ozzy's completely menu-based. Dimitri would be just... I don't even know if I'm going to have him attack, because he's more like a debuff and buff guy. Like, he would have weird items he could share, you know, things like that. I'm going to try for that again. I don't know why I just hit W. Damn it. Whew. I am making myself look like a fool in front of everyone. I thought I gave him enough TP, but TP is a really strange thing. I had to figure out how to get the menu to look right just for him alone, and it took about a day of work. whatever. And it was worth it, obviously. But man, that was tedious. Damn. Why is it not wanting to... I mean, that happens. That happens in the Joyful as well. Where sometimes you just have to wham spacebar or the enter key. I'm gonna do this though. I have to. I'm probably gonna give up soon though if I don't do it. But it's like, oof, man. But I'm glad that if anybody did watch it this long, you know, I would like to hear other people's thoughts on this. Perhaps, maybe. This is technically an announcement. It's not a trailer. I can't really do a trailer. I don't feel like doing one right now. I want to wait. Yeah, it's not going to do it. Okay, well, we're just going to kill the chicken for a second time. This is the darndest thing. Seems like the RNG isn't really in my favor right now. Okay. I'm just gonna try this one more time. If I don't get it, yeah, whatever. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Wow. I suck at my own game. Amazing. Of course, that code, it's like a custom script. I've been actually looking into how to utilize scripts more lately. That is one thing I do enjoy about RPG Maker, is that when you get like a script off the internet that somebody else made and just put out and said, hey, you can use this, that's nice because you can literally just plug that shit in and, you know, read through it once you know everything you need to know. You're pretty much just set. Once you figure it out, it's not as complicated as it might sound. Just from the because when you hear the word script, you think, oh, I'm gonna have to like program a little bit, sometimes, maybe, but for the most part, it's really, most of the authors who put those things out, I think Gal's is one of them, he's pretty cool, really talented, and they show you just about everything you could want out of whatever the script is. I'm gonna give it one more shot. I'm running my mouth a lot right now. But if you've watched this far, you know, thank you. I do want to say thank you to the few people who have supported me throughout these past 2 years. A few of you. I'm friendly usually. You know, there are some people who really don't like me, but that's fine. That's gonna happen no matter what. I don't know why I'm still talking about that or anything. I'm not nervous. I'm going to upload this as soon as I can, so I can get back to working on the experimental build that I had. I want to thank everybody who watched this, you know, no matter who you are, even if this happens to be found by, you know, whoever, it's fine. Everybody knows about it now. I don't feel as stressed out about working on this in the shadows. Being open about it feels like the better approach. If you don't have faith in this project, that's fine. I would rather you keep, you know, that opinion to yourself. I don't feel like being brought down unreasonably. I mean, maybe not even reasonably. Maybe people do have, you know, their concerns. I mean, this is the game that I'm going to use to prove that I can make games. Essentially, that's one of the big reasons I'm finishing it. I have ideas for other games. I may come back to the RPG Maker engine afterwards. It's a lot of fun for me to know what I'm doing, and it's also a lot of fun for me to know what I'm not doing. It is irritating at times. There are some times where, like a tile doesn't work right, despite being fine in the sheet. I've had that happen once. It took me about a week to figure out what was wrong. I know other fangame devs are constantly working on these different Lisa games because it's a good way to express not just things about yourself, but things about fiction and having a sense of understanding a setting. It sounds simple, you know, a world without women, but there's a lot of stuff you could experiment with on those terms. I'm going to leave now. I have to go back upstairs. I'm sure I'll probably render this out, put it up on YouTube. Feel free to comment. Anything, really. Any feedback would be great. I thought about releasing one of the builds publicly, but I decided against it for a few reasons. Not that I'm not confident in this. I'm very confident in it at the time, at least. But I mostly just wanted to maybe open up a dialogue about it, try to see how I can improve as a developer, what can keep me, what sort of things I should focus in on, what things I'm not entirely sure about. I hope you had a wonderful day, no matter who you are. I know things for a lot of my friends recently have been really rough, and life isn't all that great. Some things have gotten better, though, so there's no reason to lose hope. Just hang in there. When the game gets done, it gets done. It might be a while. This isn't coming out anytime soon. It's taking me a long time to make. But some people have encouraged me to, you know, to think better of myself and to stop thinking that everything is a downer. I'm really trying here to show that, you know, I'm capable of making things, hopefully good things. And right now I'm just rambling. So thanks for watching. Take care. I will be working on this. I've been doing it for about every day now. Sometimes I stop. Sometimes I stop and I slow down and I say, what I should do something else today. You know, I paint or I help a friend with one of their projects. But I'm just gonna go. Take care.